So, the record I'd like to speak about today is one that was released at the very, very end of the 90s. And some places have it as listed as the year 2000 when it was released. But I'm going to say it's 1999. That's what Google says, so I'll go along with that. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about Fu Manchu, King of the Road, from 1999. Some cracking artwork on it. It's all about cars and vans, as you know. Well, you should know. More inside. The actual record itself. I mean, this version is a double, but in reality it's only a single. But you've spread it over two pieces of vinyl. The actual record itself is, I suppose you'd call it sunset yellow or lime green. I don't know what to call it really. Well, it's a cool colour. It's a cool colour. As I said, this was released late 90s, very late 90s. By that time, I personally had stopped collecting vinyl and was into CDs, although I was never quite happy with the actual sound quality of a lot of those CDs. And I couldn't put my finger on why, and it was only later, many years later, that I discovered this thing called dynamic range, and that's what it was. They were overly loud, a lot of these CDs. Well, you don't get that problem on this because it's vinyl, and you know, there tends to be better, even if it's only slightly better, dynamic range on vinyl. Simply due to the manufacturing process. So, again, as I said, this is all about cars and car and van culture and things like that. The songs are quick, heavy, powerful, a bit punkish. Some people say they're almost like the Ramones on steroids on this record. Not a great fan of the Ramones, but yeah, I can see what they mean by that. But it's a good heavy record. Who's on it? Well, you've got Scott Hill, you've got Brant Bjork on drums, you've got Brad Davis, and you have Bob Balch on guitar. He was new to the band at that stage. The only difference really between the current lineup and that lineup is Brant Bjork, because he left pretty much soon after this. Well, he recorded the next record with them, but didn't tour it, and was gone then and concentrated on other projects, mainly solo stuff, which is very, very good. And if you haven't heard it, you should have a little listen, because there's a lot to delve into when it comes to Brant Bjork's solo stuff. Now, for songs on here, you have side 1, Hell on Wheels, which opens it up. And that is a very powerful statement indeed, and you know what you're kind of going to get once you hear that. Over the Edge, great beat on that. Boogie Van, fantastic, epic song. Then you've got King of the Road, the title track obviously. No Dice, which is a cool number. Great riffs on this. This is an album of riffs, really great riffs. Blue Tile Fever, another classic about skateboarding. Then you have a sort of a more laid-back thing called Grass Chopper. Then you have Weird Beard, which is again another epic song, just superb. I mean, as soon as you say these titles, you hear the riffs in your head. I mean, that's a sign of a great record. It really is. Then you've got Drive, which is a power song, really pedal to the metal, really fast song. Hot Dog in a bit more laid back. Side 4, Freedom of Choice for Devo cover. Side 4 on this, side 2 on the original. Then you have Breathing Fire and Hang Glider, which is kind of like another laid back thing, almost instrumental, that closes it all out. So is it actually any good? Well, actually yes it is. It's a great record. In fact, it's probably my favourite from the band. It got a lot of really good reviews. It's the 6th LP by the band. They'd done 5 previously before that. Then they went on to do California Crossing and the live album, which was basically a live version of that tour. what kind of critical reception did it get? It got a good one overall. As I said, there were a lot of Ramones comparisons, which I can sort of see, but on the other hand, not really. Then, like I said, most reviewers liked it. Some said it was, if they pushed it any further, it would start to stray into some pretty dumb territory, and I can kind of see that, these massive giant riffs and pummeling drums. I think there's enough on here to keep you interested. If you haven't heard this, because obviously it's not a popular record, it got very little in the way of airplay anywhere, except possibly rock radio and clubs. There were no singles to talk of, none whatsoever, literally no singles. So if you haven't heard it, hunt it down and give it a listen. It is on the old tube, give it a listen. And I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. If you like your rock powerful and themed, then this is where to go. This is really where to go. I saw them 20 years after this came out. Not for the first time, but 20 years after this came out. They came round Europe, including Manchester, to tour this particular record again, and played it from front to back. And it was great to see that. It was great to see how the current drummer, Scott Reeder, interpreted Brant Bjork's efforts on this, and he did it absolutely brilliantly, of course. It was also great to just stand back, because a lot of the time when I see this band I go to the front, but it was great to just stand back in the middle and just hear it coming at you that way instead of head down, right at the very, very front. And it sounded superb, it really did. And Scott Hill's voice is still identical to the way it was 20 years ago on this. I mean, he hasn't lost it at all. It's absolutely brilliant to hear. So, that is Fu Manchu, King of the Road, from, I'm going to say, 1999.